Hello and welcome to JG3 Reviews. My name is James, and man, we are going back to the 70s today. That's when I was a kid, and we did crazy things like ride our bicycles without helmets, go outside without a mask, and ride in the back of pickup trucks with no seat belts or even seats. And from what I hear, because I was just a kid, the parents, they were even crazier. But this is the Kaweco Student pen, and this is the 70s soul version. And if you remember shag carpet, you might remember why this is that color. There's also a 60s and a 50s and some cool colors too, man. And let me tell you, I like this pen better than I expected to. This is kind of a viewer request. Somebody asked me if I would review this pen, and at first I thought, well, I'll put that on my list and I'll get to it. And then I got a gift card, and I said, well, I'll get to it a little bit sooner. And so a while back, I ordered this pen, and I've been using it for a while now, and there's some reasons that I really like this pen better than I thought I would. I don't think pictures do it justice. I don't think just what it is on paper quite sums it all up. There are some good things and some bad things about it, but I kind of like this pen. So let's flip the camera and see why. Okay, so when your pen arrives, you get this nice cardboard sleeve. That's always exciting, right? So we get that, and that goes somewhere. And then you get the tin box. Now this, I actually do think is very cool. It's kind of a retro-themed tin box and really cool style, and I think it looks good on a shelf. Really neat. I'm excited because every now and then, on Instagram, unboxings, things like that, pen reviews, people will get their Kaweco Sport, and it'll come in this box. That has never, ever happened to me. I always get it in that little cardboard black box that looks like this has been shrunk in the dryer, and that's it. So this was cool for me, just a small little collectible thing. When you open it up, you will get a Kaweco sticker, and I should find a place to put that, maybe over my mouth. That would probably be where some people would put it, but I like that. And then there is the Kaweco history card, and that I think is also cool. So you can look at that and learn a little bit about the company's history, and that's neat. That might come in handy. There's a couple of trivia questions throughout today's review, and maybe if you read that real quick, you might get an answer right. But you get into the box for one main reason, and that is this really cool indented kind of a felted. No, that's not why. You get into the box because you, like me, are all about the pen, and that's what you find. This really cool Kaweco Student pen. There's some neat details on this pen that I guess I just didn't expect looking at the pictures. I mean, the details are in the pictures, but 2D just doesn't quite do it sometimes. First, let's go item by item here, is the clip, and it has this nicely styled retro Kaweco clip that harkens back to kind of their heyday. And I like that touch. Not very 1970s, but very Kaweco. So good, springy clip, a little bit stiff. You have the gold-toned Kaweco collar. So there, the Kaweco name, some dots, and Germany, and some dots. If you're into dots, you get dots. And then you get, of course, this orange cap. This is a really good, before I get to that, the plastic quality of this, if you, some people really like, I really like, the Kaweco Ice Sport. This is just one of my absolute favorite pocket pens. It was, my first pocket pen was one of these, not this one, and I just like them. Very, very handy, but some people feel like the plastic used in these, it just doesn't float their boat. If that's the case for you, you would be happier with the acrylic that is used in the student pen. It is not the same kind, and from the first time you pick it up, you do notice a difference, and you notice it in these details as well. So let's go at them. I mentioned the clip, and that's really nice. The band I mentioned was really nice, and the Kaweco Student name and Germany printed again. You're not going to forget where this pen is from. Is printed on the cap, and let me put that a little bit closer because that too is quite well done, and I like that. So Kaweco Student and Germany, just a nice little touch. And then of course you have the Kaweco logo as the finial. You see that there? And we'll get to, in one of our trivia questions, why it says Kaweco in the first place. And that's kind of a cool thing. So then you get to the barrel, and the barrel is this off-white color, and it is a good, higher quality acrylic, and that then brings us to the grip section. Now, it is metal, and some of you want to click away right away, and I'm just going to ask you, please do not do that, because you might be surprised as I was. This was one of the reasons that I put this pen off for a while, because of that shiny, it's pretty, but it's a very shiny metal grip, and for a lot of us that means it's going to be slippery, especially if you live in a warm climate, as I do. Then that becomes an issue, and so I tend to avoid these. Some pens, the shape can make a difference, as it does with this one. Other pens, instead of being glossy, the metal section has a matte finish, and then that gives you grip, and then it's not a problem and everything. So is this one a good pen? I will tell you this, for me, the shape of that section is such that my pen stays where it should while I'm writing. So that slippery issue of metal sections, it has enough curve to it that it negates all or most of that for me. Obviously your mileage may vary, but if you decide to give it a chance, I think you'll find that this pen is quite comfortable. It's a comfortable grip section, and it does not slip around so badly. It is certainly shiny. It has that gold-like finish, and so it's certainly a very shiny section. And speaking of gold-like finishes, let's take a look at that nib. The nib is a Bach nib. For some of you that will be positive, for some negative, for some in the middle. This pen is bold. You can see by the amount of material. If you didn't read it on the nib already, that big B, then you see that by material, this is a bold nib, and I love it. This is a good bold nib. It's smooth. It has required zero tuning. It has just written well from the word go. All I did was get the pen out, I cleaned it, flushed it, and inked it, and have been using it for a while without issue. The pen does not dry out on me. The pen does not skip on me. The pen does not give me any issues whatsoever. It just writes, and it is a comfortable pen. I like the weight and the balance, and I like the shape of the section, and it's been a good pen. You open the pen up, and this is a cartridge converter pen, and it will use international cartridges, so the world is wide open. It does not come with a converter, and it should at this price, but it does not. But it does come with one blue ink cartridge, which is in this pen, and I think I've actually refilled that a time or two. And then it has the blank in it when you first buy it, of course. But two shorts will fit in the barrel. It can use long or short cartridges. It can use a normal standard size, international standard converter, and you can carry a spare in the barrel. So that is handy and is just another plus, I think, for this pen. And that would be true of any pen that you're able to carry an extra cartridge in. But there you go. That is the design. I like it. I like the orange, and some have compared it. I think of orange shag carpet, and I'm going to put a picture up here because this carpet was in our house, and this same orange was when we moved into a split level in 1979 when I was a kid. It had carpet this color, and it had kitchen countertops that were this color because people weren't buying granite at that time because home and garden television didn't exist. So you got orange shag, and it was awesome. We didn't say it was awesome because that would take a few more years and get us into the 80s, but hey, it was cool. There you go. That's the style of the pen. Let's get into the writing test. All right, let's try this out. First, it does post securely. It is not too back heavy. It's a comfortable pen to write posted as well. Just great all the way around. So, the Kaweco Student. And this is bold. And it is blue. Just the Kaweco blue cartridge that comes standard in the pen. And I think you'll notice as I write with this that it really is just a good writing pen, nice and smooth. I'm going to be quiet and let you listen. I will say sometimes this microphone does try to compensate for silence by upping the gain against my will. So I'm going to try this and we'll see how it goes. Wetness, for a bold, that's not overly wet, but it's not too dry. It's kind of Goldilocks for me, I think. Do a little bit of the alphabet for you there. We're going to skip a few. Some of them every now and then they start to feel neglected, and why aren't I in there? Because James always stops at H or I or something like that. Anyway, it is just a good writing pen, and I like it. Very comfortable and smooth. Okay, so let's do a quick size comparison. That, of course, is the Kaweco Student. Another student pen that actually is probably bought by more students is the Kaweco Perkio, and that is a very affordable, cheaper plastic pen by Kaweco that has an ergonomic grip and is a good and less expensive alternative to the Lamy Safari. Probably not quite as good, but a good student pen. Then you have the venerable Kaweco Sport. This is the ice version in blue. One of my favorite pocket pens, obviously a lot smaller. That gives you some idea within their line. Then you have, I'm going to move that up, you have the Platinum, and this is the Prefonte. It's the Prefound, however you want to say that. And that is actually a very similar sized pen. Of course, this is just a less expensive pen and nowhere near the materials quality of the Student, but a great pen and an inexpensive pen. And then, as I shared with you recently, a very 70s pen, the Bic 4C. And so there you go. That gives you probably got one or some of these, and that gives you a good idea of the size of this pen. Thank you very much for liking, for subscribing. God bless you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.